And, this is who the Mets were supposed to be, except for the gas cans that come out of the bullpen, which make every game interesting. And it's unfortunate that they had to use David Robertson last night. That's just like one of these games. Just throw strikes, guys. Just throw strikes, and let's, this is one of the worst hitting teams in baseball with the exception of the home run. And just please don't walk anybody.
Right. It is amazing what you just said, and you're right. They are one of the worst hitting teams in baseball, the Yankees.
Well, they hit a lot of they hit home runs, but their batting averages. It is, and all you got to do is throw strikes. And I think Justin Verlander showed that last night, and he had them off balance all night long. And he was exactly what he has been supposed to be when they signed him. And then when you combine that with what Pete Alonso did last night with the 2 home runs and the 5 RBIs, I mean, that's who the team was supposed to be, and it's unfortunate that we have found ourselves in this situation where, last night we get a little bit of satisfaction, but it's feels too little too late. Now we're just getting into August. So
you declared him done yesterday. You finally checked out.
I was disgusted. That's why.
You cashed your chips out yesterday.
But then all of a sudden you see your guys do what they did last night.
You're flip-flopping again?
I am. Well, listen, all I know is that they got to win tonight. If they win tonight, then I think that there's a silver lining to all of this, especially with the Nationals and the Royals on deck.
That is true, and we saw how bad the Royals were firsthand with the Yankees this past weekend. We know that they are pathetic, almost as bad as the A's. So, yeah, I mean, you. How many times have we done this? Though?
I know. I know. But you know what? It's just nice getting out of the first inning last night.
Yes.
I was like, oh, wow, okay, we got something going here. Let's go. And like I said, when Nimmo gets on to start the game, and you have Verlander pitching the way he was pitching, and then you have Pete bombing home runs. I mean, that's who they're supposed to be. And we saw it on full display last night. And then we also saw the warts on full display last night when they bring in the bullpen.
Yeah, that's true. And the warts of the Yankees, too, which is just a really, really bad offensive team. And, they end up beating up the Kansas City Royals and some of the worst pitchers in the game. If you looked at that 3-game
minor
stretch.
League team, dude.
Right, the 3-game stretch, the ERAs and those guys that they faced were just absolutely through the roof. And then they get Justin Verlander after a day off. And, of course, they get shut down in the way that they did. And they've got good teams coming up, as we talked about yesterday, with the Rays, with the Orioles, and of course the Houston Astros after the Mets.
Their season's on the brink right now.
It really is, and I don't think that's going too far. It really is. If they end up losing all these series and keep slipping back, and Aaron Judge doesn't come back, I mean, this really is a crossroads in August before the trade deadline.
And that's not hyperbole.
It's not hyperbole.
It's not hyperbole, no. I don't think. I think it's real, especially if Aaron Judge doesn't come back. And, I got to say, for Domingo Germán, man, when you talk about an up and down season, holy God. I mean, there are moments where he looks like he's unhittable, and then
he threw a perfect game.
I know, but it's just got to be maddening for the Yankees just to go through just like we have with the Mets, the ups and downs of certain players. And 1 minute they come out, they're unhittable. The next minute they come out and they can't get anybody out, or they're serving up home runs. It was interesting. I was kind of going back and forth. And you listen to like John Flaherty in the pregame show.
You love Flaherty so much that you got off Gary, Keith, and Ron to go over to Flaherty?
No. He was doing pregame.
Oh, pregame. Yes. I was going to say. I wanted to hear him.
I wanted to hear him.
How do you get off Gary, Keith, and Ron?
I'm not off Gary, Keith, and Ron. When the game started, I'm on Gary, Keith, and Ron.
You said you were flipping back and forth.
No, it was in the pregame.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
just making sure.
No, and I was listening to John Flaherty talk about Domingo Germán.
Flaherty Report with John Flaherty.
Somebody's getting pizzade.
Yeah.
I just think that from a catcher's perspective, and when he talks about pitching, I like to listen to what he has to say because I think he's really spot on. And I know, there were a couple of things last night that they did bring up, and Ronnie Darling brought it up, is that Germán does not look at the batter. I thought they were supposed to look at the batter.
Well, I mean, at what point during?
Somewhere within within the whenever the pitch clock starts, you got to.
Of course he's.
No. Not
at all.
Nope, doesn't look at the batter.
Oh wow.
He puts his head down. He listens to his pitch comm.
But he looks up. When he looks up, he looks at the batter. He looks up towards the end.
Under 8 seconds.
So you telling me it's a violation?
technically, I would say it is a violation.
That sounds like one of those guys that watches golf from home and then calls in the rules. You know what I'm saying?
That was Ronnie last night on the game.
I'm just saying it's one of those nitpicking,
analyzing.
It's one of those nitpicking things. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, good point, Ronnie, but with the whole thing with Keith yesterday and all that, Keith left me a very nice message later on in the day.
Oh, did he?
Yes, on his way to New York. Yes,
he had to drive from Sag Harbor to the Bronx.
Oh.
No wonder he was sleeping in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a little scary. I actually did deploy someone to go check on him.
You know.
That was like a legit thing.
A welfare check.
A welfare check. I blamed it on you, though. I said Boomer would like a welfare check.
I was worried about him. And it all started with Jerry.
Well, that was the thing.
Because Jerry said he couldn't show up on the K-Rod telecast on Sunday night. And we find out that I guess Sag Harbor doesn't have internet.
Yeah, and right. He's like, man, the internet out here is terrible. What are you talking about? What do you mean it's terrible, the internet?
Get my boys.
It's hardwired internet. Doesn't matter where the hell you are.
Audio Interiors over there. They'll handle it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, he really did sound like a 95-year-old guy yesterday with that. It's like my ringer was off. You know, the internet's just terrible out here. I mean, I love how it's like we were talking about national broadcast.
Yeah,
Keith is supposed to be on. He just can't get his internet figured out.
But you know,
with Alex Rodriguez, you know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, but it's Keith. That's
Keith.
What makes
Keith
the charm
of Keith Hernandez.
Exactly. So we all get it. We all love it, and he's great at what he does. And I'm glad he's doing what he does because it makes our games interesting, even when we're not playing well.
Yeah, and I love how he admits the fact that. Really, the only reason he hasn't gotten too frustrated with this year is the fact that the games are shorter. The pitch clock. Yes. He goes, imagine if these were 3.5-hour losses.
Oh, man, at least tell the truth. You know, these contracts, you were just talking about this Jaylen Brown contract.
Oh, my God.
A super max contract because he made second-team All-NBA. That is unbelievable.
I mean, we're talking about an average of $60 million per year. For Jaylen Brown.
Of all guys, he's a good basketball player, and obviously he's a great basketball player because he's getting paid to be a great basketball player. But if you would have said, who do you think is going to be the highest paid basketball player in the NBA in 2024?
There's the three guys come to mind. Three guys.
Steph Curry?
Yeah, but I was actually going to go younger than that because
Jokic?
I was going to go Jokic, Doncic, and Antetokounmpo. Those three guys. Those are the three guys. Those are the three best players in basketball.
He did get the new deal in 2022.
Right.
But this deal now, because of the convoluted, I don't know who's got more convoluted rules, the NBA or the NFL when it comes to
it's very close.
Are they extensions? Are they new contracts? Are they this, they that, everything else? Good for these guys that they're getting it. I keep saying they should be getting it because these teams and what the worth of the teams has been growing significantly. And in the NFL, if you are Joe Burrow's agent now, you got to be careful because the salary cap is going to be going up again.
Right.
The financial health of the NFL is only going to grow over the next 10 years, and it's going to grow significantly. And here's the thing about Joe Burrow. He's been in the league for 3 years. He's already 27 years old. Justin Herbert's like 24 or 23. Okay? He has been to 7 playoff games in 3 years. That first year he got hurt. He got hurt against the Commanders. Remember that? He blew his knee out, and then he came back. The second year, he takes his team to the Super Bowl. The third year, he goes all the way to the AFC Championship game. So he has played already in 7 playoff games. Justin Herbert has played in 1 playoff game. If you take the totality of the games that they've played, both regular season and playoffs, Joe Burrow has played, I believe, in 49 total games. And Justin Herbert has played in 50 total games. And Justin Herbert got what he should get, and it seems about right to me. But Joe Burrow has made $30 million over the last 3 years. He has far exceeded that $30 million.
Oh, sure.
Far exceeded. And this year, right now, under his current contract, because they haven't given him his extension yet, he is expected to make about $6.6 million. So I'm telling you that, if I'm the agent there, and because he's 27 years old, I would go a max. And the extension would be 5 years, but what I would want them to do is I'd want them to rip that 5th year up. I'd want them to rip this year up. This year is 4. Rip this year up, rip next year up, and start them on a new 6-year, $300 million deal. or $350 million, somewhere in there, because he's already exceeded so much and has brought the Bengals so much attention. And on top of that, remember, the Bengals still have to sign T. Higgins. He's in the last year of a 4-year deal. He was a second-round draft pick. And, he is projected, many say, to be making somewhere between 19 and 21 million a year. And on top of that, you got Nick Bosa holding out in San Francisco. He is going to get a massive deal. They should have given him the deal last year, and they didn't. And you got Chris Jones for the Kansas City Chiefs holding out. He's going to get another massive deal as well.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers, the details of that came out, too.
I told you they had to work through all of that. I have not seen the total details. All I know is that it is agreed upon. Mm-hmm. I knew that we knew that it was coming because they had to get that straightened out. They had to get Quinnen Williams done first. Mm-hmm. They had the agreement in principle with Aaron Rodgers. They just had to work out the contracts.
You ready for this? So the shifting of a massive $58.3 million option bonus from 23 to 24 pushed Rodgers' salary to $1.165 million for 2023, but it came with a gargantuan compensation package of $107.5 million in 2024. Aaron Rodgers in 2024 is going to be making $107 million for that year.
And he's going to have to, I believe he'll have to play at least 3 years here. Or he'll kill the Jets.
And by the way,
he'll kill the Jets in terms of a dead cap thing. So he's got to play here for 3 years.
If he plays 3 years, then bye-bye Zach Wilson, because you tell me you're going to pick up his fifth-year option and pay him the money that's going to cost?
I'm just saying if everything goes, nothing ever goes swimmingly.
Right, especially with the Jets.
Well, you could say that. But if everything goes right, he should be here for at least 3 years. That's and I've been saying that over and over and over and over and over again. And I told you that when they went out there to see him on the plane,
right,
they explained to him how they want to pay him, how they would need to pay him, and how they would be able to bring players in around him if they could pay him in such a way.
Right. But you also told me that they want to keep Zach Wilson around to learn from Aaron Rodgers and give him a shot when Aaron goes and retires finally, but they can't pay Zach Wilson to pick up his 50-year option. It's going to be a huge number for a guy that they don't know can play if Aaron Rodgers plays 3 years.
And that's still 4 seasons from now. It's 4 seasons from now.
Well, no, he would.
This is going into his second year. Second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year.
This is his third year.
Is his third?
This is his third year.
No, it's his second year.
It's his third year. 100%. You don't have to look it up. It's his third year.
Okay.
It's 100% his third year. Last year was not his rookie season. And remember, we came into camp last year and was like, oh, he looks different. He looks bigger.
That's right. That's right.
And all this stuff. So
You're right.
So he's got, his 4th year will be next year, and then the 5th-year option's the year after that. There's no way in hell, especially if they're paying Aaron Rodgers $107 million for 1 year, they're going to keep him around?
That's true.
So
you think so, huh?
That's it. We'll throw you a bone. You can get mentored by one of the greatest to ever do it, but if he's good, you're gone. That's it. To me, when I saw all this yesterday and he's going to play 3 years stuff that you've been saying, that sealed the fate of Zach Wilson.
Well, Zach Wilson's dead cap number this year is $20 million. So his money is guaranteed because he was a first-round draft pick. So, his dead cap money this year is $20 million. His dead cap number next year is $11 million. So you're right.
Gone.
But he could be an unrestricted free agent in 27. So he's got 3 years left, essentially, with the Jets. So if Aaron plays 2 years,
if they pick up his 5th-year option.
Now the other thing that can happen here too, is if God forbid Aaron Rodgers gets hurt and misses games, who is the backup? He's the backup.
He's the backup. I know.
So we'll see. We'll see what he's learned. We'll see if Aaron has had any impact on him. I think he would have.
Want to talk about an air out of a balloon spot? Zach Wilson comes trotting in, taking a couple snaps in the middle of the season, Chiefs game Sunday night or something like that.
It's amazing. They said the same thing about Geno Smith, and look what Geno Smith did later on in his career.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
So I'm not saying it doesn't happen often, but it does happen where a guy, goes through a couple places, doesn't really fit in, doesn't feel comfortable. They tried to put Geno in there for Eli Manning. All hell broke loose. And everybody was having a conniption around here because of that. And then he goes out and he quietly becomes the backup quarterback to Russell Wilson. Seattle keeps his head down. Seattle gets rid of Russell, and now Geno is the starter out there, and he's gotten a huge contract.
Right. For every one Geno Smith, there's 55 Christian Ponders and Jake Lockers, though, is the problem. And
then Marcus Mariota.
And J.P. Losman.
Yes.
And Marcus Mariota and Jamarcus Russell and Achilles Smith and
Vince
Tim
Young.
Couch and Vince. Well, you know what? Tim Couch, actually, if you look back at his career, wasn't as bad as some of those other guys. But, yeah, there's a million of them.
Brady Quinn,
Johnny Manziel. Yeah. Brandon Whedon. Just keep going and going and going.
Yeah, I know
so
you
good
can.
for Geno for being the one guy that actually did it. All right, Boomer and Geno.
I would say that Kurt Warner kind of did it. I would say that
he wasn't a high draft pick.
Rich Gannon kind of did it.
Wait, timeout. No, he was not a high draft pick. Kurt
How about
Warner.
Jim Plunkett?
Yeah, but
I'm just trying to give you guys
out of nowhere.
I'm trying to give you guys older players that may not have had a shot or did have a shot, didn't make it, and then all of a sudden came back and made it.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's a few
just
examples.
Like you have 1,000
There's
of
a
the
few
other
examples.
kind. I'm just trying to give you a few of the other ones. That's all.
Right. There's just like a handful, though. There's the handful.
I mean, Jim Plunkett was number 1 overall.
Okay. That's a long-ass time ago.
Yeah, but it's still part of the history of the NFL. It's the same team.
Time ago. Yeah, I know. I mean, so
look at Steve Young. Steve Young, I would say that there you go. That's
but he
perfect.
He didn't fail. He just really didn't like have a massive failure. Did
yeah,
he?
did you see his numbers in Tampa?
Yeah. Okay. I just thought that team was miserable. I thought that was what the problem was.
Well, maybe that was the problem with the Jets.
No, I don't think so. Remember, they almost made the playoffs, and he really sucked. And all we said last year was that they're a good team with a bad quarterback. Remember that?
You are like so giddy over that.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that now. You are like so giddy over that.
No,
Why
I'm not so
giddy?
I'm not so giddy
You're
over it.
very giddy.
I'm just saying that I think you're having selective memory over what Zach Wilson was. That's all.
I do know that there were times in games where he did make throws that were like wow throws.
Okay.
Just not enough of them and not consistent enough. And then there were those throws where he threw it into the ground.
Right. I was going to say, there's also throws that reminded me of my old high school baseball coach throwing me grounders at third base. Here we go. All right,
okay.
On the Fan and CBS Sports Network.
And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when we're dropping new content.